Which of the following countries Giuseppe Garibaldi belonged to? Austria, Italy, Greece and Spain. Let us see. Okay. Giuseppe Garibaldi. He is perhaps the most celebrated of Italian freedom fighters. So the right answer is option B, which is Italy. Okay, now let us learn a little about Giuseppe Garibaldi. Okay, he is an Italian freedom fighter. Let me ask you, what was Italy's problem? Italy's problem was there were 7 states and these were under different kings also. So what the Italian freedom fighters like Giuseppe Garibaldi, Giuseppe Mazzini, they wanted was all the states come together and form one Italy. That was their cause. But the kings of these states would never leave their states, right, to unify Italy, and they had to fight against these kings. That is the thing that Italy had. That was what these freedom fighters were fighting for. And among the 7 states, only one was under an Italian king. Okay, his name was King Victor Emmanuel II, which we'll learn when we learn about Garibaldi. Okay, so he came from a family. He came from a family engaged in coastal trade. Coastal trade basically means moving goods by ships between the places in the same country along the coast. So his family was engaged in that, and he was a sailor in the merchant navy. Okay, and in 1833 he met Giuseppe Mazzini. Okay, joined the Young Italy movement and participated in the Republican uprising in the Piedmont in 1834. 1833 he met Mazzini. 1834 he took part in an uprising, a rebellion uprising. What was it for? Cause is to fight with these kings so that Italy becomes one country, right? The uprising was suppressed and Garibaldi had to flee to South America, where he lived in exile till 1848. So exile, what does exile mean? Exile means whenever you are sent to a different country as a punishment. See, I am from India, right? And because I did some rebellious things here, I am forced to leave the country. So I go to another country. Here he left from Italy to South America. In 1854, he supported Victor Emmanuel II in his efforts to unify the Italian states. I told, right, Victor Emmanuel II was the only Italian prince. He was the only Italian king. Okay, and it was he thought that all these movements are being suppressed. So now it is my job to unify Italy. So when he took this decision, Garibaldi also started supporting him. In 1860, Garibaldi led the famous expedition of the 1000 to South Italy. So it was an expedition. It was again an uprising, and fresh volunteers kept joining through the course of the campaign till their numbers grew to about 30,000. They were popularly known as the Red Shirts. Okay, Red Shirts. These people were called Red Shirts. And in 1867, Garibaldi led an army of volunteers to Rome to fight the last obstacle to the unification of Italy, the Papal States, where a French garrison was stationed. So his last job was to fight against the king of Rome. It was under Pope. Okay, but the problem was Garibaldi's army was not so huge that they could fight both the French army and the Papal army. Okay, French army, they had this Papal States had called French to protect them. So both army was there. Papal army was there. Also the French army was there, and they could not. Garibaldi's army was not that strong to fight two armies. So that the Red Shirts proved to be no match for the combined French and Papal troops. But another thing happened is in 1870. This happened in 1867. It failed. Okay, 1867, Garibaldi tried to take over Rome to unify Italy. It failed. But in 1870, France had to during the war with Prussia, France withdrew its troops from Rome, that the Papal States were finally joined to Italy. So France had to fight against Prussia in 1870. So what happened? France needed army there to fight against Prussia. So they withdrew the troops from Papal State. The Garibaldi took that opportunity and fought against Papal army. So then what happened? Papal states also became part of Italy. Finally, Italy became one country. Okay, see, it started in 1833 and it ended in 1870. Almost 40 years he fought his life for the unification of Italy. So he is a great Italian freedom fighter. Here this image you have to study because they might show this image and show what this depicts. So here Garibaldi helping King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia Piedmont to, so Sardinia Piedmont is a state, okay, among the 7 there is this state, and that was the only state which was under the Italian princely house, to pull on the boot named Italy. So he was basically, Garibaldi was basically helping out Victor Emmanuel II to unify Italy. That is what this picture shows. For personalized tuition, contact YILDIZ Academia and book your free demo today.